Welcome to my course. My name is Mark Corbet. I'll be your professor for this course in calculus at North Harris Lone Star College. The section name and number is math2413-1501 Corbet. That'll be the section number that you'll look for in all our materials. This is an entirely online course given from August 26th to December 15th. My full information is there. JV Mark Corbet. I'm adjunct with the Department of Mathematics at North Harris. My contact information is right there. Email mark.j.corbet@lonestarcollege.edu. You should expect email responses within about 24 hours. In general, usual, longer maybe during vacation time or like Thanksgiving or something, but usually should be within 24 hours. My WebEx address is right there as well. If you want to make a WebEx appointment, which is probably the best way to meet so we can talk one-to-one, you could just email me and we'll arrange a time and I'll send you a link to my WebEx. This course is a 4-semester-hour course according to the state numbering system, so you should expect work for that amount of 4 hours. The prerequisite is Pre-Cal Math 2412, college level readiness in reading and writing is also expected. The modality is entirely online via D2L. Everything is organized in that D2L. I'll bring that up in a sec. Here, our course should look like this in D2L. This is what you should expect to see with the content side looking like this. So you should expect to see the content side and all the course is all ready for you, ready to go in D2L. The textbook is entirely online and it's free. You do not have to purchase any kind of licensing or access for the textbook. This is via OpenStax, which is a link that's very easy to get to. It's calculus. It has all the table of contents. All of the content for the textbook is available here. Please pay attention to the syllabus, in terms of what chapters we're going to cover and what assignments you should be doing. Calculators are permitted in this course, scientific or graphing calculators. The recommendation is a TI-83 or 84 model series. You may use up to a TI-84 plus CE. You cannot use a computer algebra system, so you cannot use a 92 or one of the other computer model, computer access calculators or computer algebra system calculators. So the calculator is limited to the TI-84. A certain version of the Inspire is permitted, but you'll need to contact me to make sure that is a downset calculator and not a computer algebra calculator. Other calculators are also permitted. You don't necessarily need one, but you may be at a disadvantage if you don't have a decent graphing calculator. It's very helpful to have those. The purpose of the course is pretty simple. We're going to be presenting calculus as it's been presented for the last couple of hundred years. Calculus is a very old math course. It's a traditional course. It has not changed a great deal. The emphasis is going to be on limits, continuity, derivatives of algebraic, trigonometric, natural exponential, and natural log functions. We're going to do curve sketching, optimization, related rates. We're going to follow this with an introduction to integral calculus, Riemann sums, fundamental theorem of calculus, both parts, and the area between two curves. There's a major set of outcomes here that I'm not going to go through point by point. You can read that here. Basically, we're going to go from the tangent line problem through related rates, fundamental theorem of calculus, integrals, applications, doing that with trig, and doing that with logs and exponents. The evaluation is relatively simple. Remember that the allowable final grades are A, B, C, D, F, and I. The scores or ranges for those grades are set by the college, so 80 to 89%, for example, is B. That's pretty straightforward. The I grade is reserved for students unable to complete the last part of the course due to illness or other extenuating circumstances. I grades are not to be given to a student who simply gets behind and cannot get caught up. So keep that in mind about an incomplete grade. An incomplete grade is for an event or circumstance. It is not to cover if you fall behind. Official grades will always be posted in D2L. That's where you can check your grades throughout the semester, and we'll keep up with those grades. The final grade is formed as 60% of the mean average of the best 6 out of 7 chapter quizzes and 40% of the final exam. There's no rewrites, no makeups of quizzes or finals. You must achieve a minimum of 50% on the final exam to get an A, B, C grade. Otherwise, the best grade you can get is a D, or the worst grade, F. Homework is suggested in the syllabus. We'll show you that in a minute. These are the homework problems that we suggest and scheduled at the times. No grades are assigned for homework, so we're not collecting homework. It's what you should be working on. A lot of the answers to the homeworks are available directly in the program in OpenStax, so it does not record problems or answers. It gives you questions and gives you answers, and you work towards them. So there's a lot of independence there. I am giving you 6 to 8 quizzes during the semester. I have scheduled 7 of them. If you look at the online in D2L, you will see 7 quizzes scheduled. I keep 1 in reserve, possibly an 8th if we need it. We are planning to have 7 this semester with a final exam finally topping it off. So your grade should be the best 6 out of the 7 quiz grades. That's automatic. You don't have to ask for it. You don't have to work it out. It's going to be worked out in your D2L grade automatically. The final exam is 40%, and like I said, it has to be at least, it'll serve at least 50%. So you got to get at least 50% to get those higher grades. Final exam is already scheduled, and that will be Monday, December 9th through Tuesday, December 10th. So there's a period of time depending on how we do that. Usually with the final exam, you've got that 48 hours of time, so you have time to start it whenever you need to. You can work it out that 2 hours of the final exam on your own and then get it back to me. You'll get more information about that as we go through the semester. There's no makeups or rewrites of the final exam. There's no makeups or rewrites of quizzes. There's just what you get on the programs. Let's see here. We will be using Respondus Lockdown Browser and proctoring on a hit or miss basis. So the first exam will certainly be Lockdown Browser with Respondus and proctoring. Depending on the results of that, I may use that sometimes or not. It's a program that we use to just keep track of students doing exams online. When you're doing the exams in D2L, you'll be seeing that, and it'll tell you what the requirement will be for that particular exam session. So you do need to be prepared to download Respondus and give yourself some time, especially the first time around, to download it, get it up to speed, make sure your exam space qualifies for Respondus and proctoring, and that there's no issues. So you want to make sure you give yourself some time for that. You can't use any phones, programs, internet links other than the assessment access with the quiz, test, or final homepage during an assessment. So you can't be changing or flipping web pages while you're doing that. On assessments, you may not give or receive help from anyone. You may not look up answers or use any devices or programs to find answers. That's our academic honesty. So Respondus Lockdown Browser will help us with that, as well as the proctoring system, and the way the exams are written as well kind of fit into that aspect. At the discretion of the instructor, an alternate quiz, test, or final may be given instead of the planned online-based assessment. That would be usually a write-on type of paper-based based problem set that I would email to you. You would print out that and then complete the assignment on paper and then scan it and then return it to me in the reply email. 9 times out of 10, our final will actually be this facet where I'll email you the final. For example, on December 9th, I'll email the final out to you, and you work it out on paper after printing it. You scan it back to me in one single PDF. I pick it up after that, I correct it, and then we go from there. It's an alternative to the online quizzes. The advantage to this approach is that if you're writing on a paper-based type of approach, I can see your work and I give you part marks for work. The online advantage is you get results right away and it's a lot simpler, right? It's going to be, but it lends itself to single answers or multiple choice, which isn't always to your advantage, because if it's multiple choice or single answer, I don't get to see your work. So there's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. So most, if not all, of the quizzes probably are going to be online in that fashion. The final exam probably will be a final exam that's emailed back to you that you do on your own. So it's kind of that balance between those two things. Another thing about the marking of all that and the results of the assessment is that it's all going to be available online. So you'll have that. I will provide a formula sheet. It's allowed on all the assessments, the quizzes, and the final exam. It's available already in D2L, and we'll see that. You can see that. You should have a grid whiteboard. That's allowed during the assessment. You could write on paper, but it's probably easier to do a whiteboard. The grid whiteboard is something you get from Amazon. It's just a nice grid. That makes it easy to do questions online with the least amount of problems. Just note the 6 drop statement. You can only drop a certain number of courses, 6 course limit, that you can drop courses. After that, the courses become more expensive, or you just can't drop at all, depending on your institution. So just be aware of that. There's more information of that from the registrar. Your participation in this course is demonstrated by your progress through the D2L modules, evidenced by the completion of the quizzes by the due dates. Talk about that in a minute. So the failure to participate may result in you being dropped from the course without warning. Now that does not automatically mean that if you abandon the course you'll be dropped. It always is your responsibility. If you decide to drop the course, that you do it yourself. Don't wait for an instructor, particularly me, to drop you because you have not been participating. That's your responsibility, not mine. But if I am into the 2nd or 3rd quiz and you still haven't done any of the quizzes by the due dates, you're very likely, you may be dropped from the course. And if you have student aid or anything like that, that could be a problem. So you're going to want to avoid that, to do that sort of thing. Let's see here. If you fail to drop a course and you end up on the roll after the drop date, you will receive a grade A to F according to the grade scheme indicated. That means if you abandon the course, you don't drop it, and you end up staying on the roll one reason or another, you will probably receive an F for the course. And so that's a problem. So try to avoid that, please. There's all kinds of syllabus policies. If you want to get information on FERPA, Title IX, academic integrity, academic appeals, any ADA issues, emergency procedures, our college alert system, which I actually recommend. Even though you're not on campus, it's nice to know what's going on. The alert system is a very good system. It's a way of letting us know when the campus is open or closed. Usually that does not affect us, but if it's a weather alert or a problem, it still will create an effect. And if we have a delay, we all have a delay, so that will be there. There's a concealed and carry, campus carry procedure, policy, COVID-19 prevention recommendations. We also have some information and resources available through our math department. that's through this link here. Just click on that link on your syllabus or look on the math department. You can contact the Dean of the Science Department and Math, that's Ellen Tornell. You can contact the department chair, who's Tim Algio. You could also see some course resources, tutoring links. We do have a math learning center, and that does have some tutoring, and some of that tutoring is available online, so you can check that out. We have tons of videos. There are also lots of videos. There's some videos associated directly in our book, and then there's links to our faculty and adjunct faculty. Let's see, what else do we got? In the course itself in D2L, you'll see a long description of the course, so you can see it going all down the side of the different things we're going to do. You did see the OpenStax, so you can see how the OpenStax has a lot of links. So when you go to work on something like maybe 3.1, it will open up 3.1 and give you access to all the material in 3.1. It's a very nice link. It's got a lot of information, some active animations, and it even has some video links in there. It's got problems worked out. It's got solutions that are worked out. It's got a lot of things that are available. It does occasionally have the odd pop-up that you can ignore or not. I mean, you can see that. I also, in my D2L, have a bunch of video links. So in each section there is a link. Some of the video links are me, some of them are not. For example, there's one that starts right here. It's the tangent line problem, and that's actually one of my older videos, and you can see that. So there's lots and lots of stuff there in the content of the course. The best way to go through the course is simply read the syllabus, look at the text, and just start working your way through from limits down. So you'd start in the limits section, you'd open the book. The book has got key equations and answer key. Then you've got the video, you've got an introduction, equation of the tangent line, all of that, preview of calculus, all these videos that are each bit on the material. A lot of them, some of them are a little more lengthy, some of them are a little more general. At the beginning, they're kind of broken down a little more. As the course progresses, these are more and more general kinds of links. So follow the course schedule, read through the chapter, watch the related link, practice by completing the suggested homework problems, organize your work problems in a notebook is really, really strongly encouraged. Study for quizzes and the final assessment. You don't get a homework grade for any of the work done on the homework. Remember, the work is just going to be, the grade is going to be based on the quizzes and the final exam. To that point, you see each chapter has a section number that matches the section number in open links, so 2.1, a preview, and right beside that 1 to 25. These are the homework problems that are recommended. Okay, and it also gives you a due date to give you an idea of how to pace yourself. So that first due date is actually next Monday. You should be pretty well working your way through chapter 1. So I give you all of the first week and most of the second week to work and prepare for the first quiz, which is going to be on limits. And the first quiz is due Sunday, the 8th at midnight. Okay, and that means you take that quiz in D2L. Now you can take the quiz earlier, but you cannot take it later. So you must take it before midnight on Sunday, September 8th. Now, it's important to note that it may take you a couple of hours to get yourself set up and going. So you cannot log in at 11:30 on Sunday night to take your quiz, because that's not going to work, because it's going to cut you off at midnight. So you probably need to get yourself situated, and probably, especially for your first time around, with the respondus you're going to need to download and get up to speed with, and maybe some connection issues and stuff like that, you probably want to give yourself at least a day or two, especially for your first quiz. That's why I've given you so much time to get ready for that first quiz with that due date, you might want to be back on Friday or Thursday of the previous week, starting to get yourself into that quiz and practicing that quiz and working on that quiz. That way, if you have any problems with it, you can contact me. Remember, it could take up to 24 hours for me to get back to you, and also if there's a tech issue or if there's something going on, it may take a little bit of time to fix that. Okay, so this is kind of on you to make sure you get that ahead time so you're not rubbing up against a due date. The second quiz is also going to be 2 weeks out from there. That's going to be the 22nd of September and onwards. You can see there's a fair amount of homework and materials. Some of these problems are short, but most of these problems are relatively long. And I give you, 11 to 29 odd only. I've assigned the odd onlys because they mostly have answers in the book. There are answers for the even ones as well available. It's harder to look up and find them though. But you should do that. You should also work, when you're in the book, work the sample questions. There's lots of sample questions and examples, and all of these checkpoints and sample questions and things in the book. Just don't read a little and jump to the exercises. You should work your way through the material that's offered. I mean, we spent so much time building all of this. I know it's not the greatest thing sometimes to read online, but it's important to read that, take notes, try some of these problems, look at these graphs, try to, determine what's going on, to lay it all out and understand it. Work on some of these problems. They have an example here. You can work that problem, look at the solution. Okay, that's very, very important for you to look at that. So it goes all the way through here. It's organized till December 1st is your final quiz, which is integration in areas. That's due Sunday. They're all due on Sundays. So keep that in mind. There's one due here November 24th. So make sure if you've got a conflict, you've got a travel date, you've got something that's going to take you away from these due dates, you're going to have to, on your own, complete that before the due date. Okay, that's really something you need to be responsible about. The dates are published now, early on, so you can get to those dates and have access to those really early on. That pretty well sets out the syllabus. It sets out how the course is going to work. You can see that, all of that available. We have, there's a formula sheet and a grid link here. There's online calculators that you can use, the virtual calculators. You may or may not be able to use those during assessments. It's going to depend on the proctor. Usually the virtual proctor, or the way Respondus works, it will not allow you to use the virtual calculator. So you may have to figure that out for the first test and see if that works or not. My guess is that Respondus will not allow you to use a virtual calculator, in which case you'll have to borrow one. They're not hard to find. They're relatively cheap. TI-83 or 84 should run you no more than $70 or $80. Borrow one. We have some that you can borrow from the department for assessments, and you can come in and use them. You can even come in and do your assessments at the department or in one of the Mac Center labs, borrow a calculator for that assessment, and then not have to pay anything at all. So you could do it that way. And that would be a nice, quiet place to do an assessment. That's not a bad idea to come in and do the assessments at your own time. Log into the computer or log into your computer in the Mac at the North Harris campus, or any of our campuses for that matter, and that would make it a really nice, quiet place for you to do your assessment. What else is there? The final exam. You're going to see right now there is one loaded up. It's in lockdown browser. It's not available, and it would not be available. It's due December 10th. It starts December 9th. So this is kind of the backup one that we have. The likely one is going to be a different one. So I've just populated that just to give you a point here. We do have a link for online tutoring. You can check that out. That's available and listed in D2L, so you can see that. It's the Mac Center. What else do we got here? And there's a whole set of videos. North Harris has a huge set of videos for calculus. Here they all are. So if you want some of these, these are it's just an incredible list of videos, so you can use any of those. Every section in our book online is also linked to a video. Some of them, like I said, are general lecture videos. There's a few by Dr. Leonard, there's a few by me, there's a few by Dr. Turnell. So there's a few there to help you out. If you need to contact me, or if you have any questions, once again, use the contact that's listed on the syllabus, my email at the top. Give me a little time to answer that, but usually I'll answer that within about 24 hours. WebEx is available. I will announce WebEx nights every once in a while, probably next Monday. If I think of it, I probably will. I'll be offering a WebEx night. Usually they're like at 7 to 8 o'clock on Mondays. If you want, I'm available. That's my best time in the week to be available. Just pop me an email, say I'd like a WebEx. I can do it at other times as well, that I have open times in my schedule that I can meet with you, particularly to answer any questions, and I'm open to that. Welcome to the course. I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy teaching it and having it going, and enjoy the materials.